at the end of this, you've got plus 13 on the exam next Thursday. You have the second most plus 11, third most plus 9. I'm feeling generous today. That's a lot of points. So everybody's got a chance. Couple of things. Everybody in your group's got to give an answer at some point in this. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, if you're negative in this, you don't get anything on the exam. So make sure that you're in the positive. This is going to work just like, I don't need you to put in the form of a question. When you get started, call out the point value in a category, and it's pretty straightforward. Constitutions, executives, legislature, courts, and articles can come basically from anywhere. There are three kinds of questions. If you see a term up there, a term or a question up there, first hand I see gets it, and then for every fact that's relevant that you give me, you'll get those points added to your score. If you miss it, it's minus points. A second kind of a question is a list all you can. If list all you can comes up, the person that chose the category, their group has it, and then the next hand that we see gets it next. Amanda is going to be in charge of doing the second and the third and the fourth hands on this. So if something's wrong, yell at her. For those list all that you can, as long as you keep telling me the story, you will continue to get points. Okay? And I will guide you a little bit, but I'll also lose patience. The third kind of a question is a Pictionary. If your group gets a Pictionary, somebody's coming to the board to draw. And then your group is going to have to guess what the drawing is, and then ultimately relate this back to class. I don't need you to relate it back to class when they first start drawing. I need you to relate it back to class once we figure out what it is, and I will be able to guide you with that. With this, if you give a wrong answer, it's minus points. If you give a wrong answer, you don't get to answer again until the next question gets picked. Okay? And then the third thing on this is, if you say something that's already been said, minus points, you're done. So with this in mind, if somebody starts to say something that's already been said, let them say it all the way. And if you want to call them on it, that's fine, but you better be right, otherwise it's going to be minus points on you. Okay? Pretty straightforward kind of rules. Once you get control of the board, anybody in the group can answer, but if I hear the wrong answer from somebody, it's out. So be careful what you blurt. You can use anything, notes, articles, text, whatever. Okay? Pretty straightforward, right? All right, what do we have? We've got Corey's group back here. Corey's group. We've got, Laura's group up here. We've got the Pisswaters. And we've got the Q's back there. Okay, and anytime it goes black up there like number 1, that means that that's not a choice anymore. So with this in mind, why don't you go ahead and click number 1. First hand I see. Direct and indirect elections, what are they? Go ahead, Pisswaters.
The voters directly vote in the parliamentary system. The voters directly vote for the party, and the party would indirectly vote for the parliament, which means that the voters get to choose exactly who they want in the party, but then the party kind of goes into
Yeah, that's true. An indirect election is the English system, so that's one point. And indirectly, you're voting for the party, and then the party picks the people, so the voters themselves don't pick the specific representative. What's direct?
Direct is when they do things.
And where would this be? 5, 4, 3.
There's an example of that, the kitty porn party that we did in class. You voted, but they got shot down in the Netherlands. So
That's an example of a direct election?
You vote for that.
I think that was actually an example of an indirect election. -1. What's a direct election?
Direct election would be whereby the people vote for the party. Sorry, vote for the president.
Where can they vote directly for the president? 5.
This would be in a non-parliamentary system.
What's country? 4.
Like United States.
-1.
Who is this?
What's a direct election? Where? Go ahead, Tiffany.
A direct election is when the voters vote directly for the party or the candidates within a party.
They vote directly for the party. -1. There's only one group left. My overachievers. They haven't even moved. They've got nothing on their desks.
So when they go to a ballot and vote directly for the representative,
They vote directly for the person on this. Wow! Yeah, that's exactly where it is. Where can you vote directly for the president? First hand I see. Go ahead. France! France, you can actually directly vote for the president, but in the United States it's indirect because of the Electoral College. Click it. Direct election, voting for a specific candidate for office. Indirect, voting for a party or group who chooses your specific candidate. I say group because the Electoral College does that. Go, pick me a category.
Articles for
Two.
Articles for 2.
anal, I guess.
Go ahead, click it. List all you can. Click it. Quango. What is a quango? First hand I see gets it next.
Longo.
You'll have it next. 5. Oh, shame on you. 4.
I've never even heard of such a
3. 2. 1. Man, I think you had that article. Go ahead. What's a quango?
This were the groups that were chosen by the parliamentary system.
It is a group that's chosen by the parliamentary system. Go ahead. You're in the positive. What do they do? What does quango mean?
Congos were basically groups that came up with the ideas. They came up with ideas to solve a problem.
Like what kind of problems? Do you remember?
Say, the economical problem in the country, or an educational problem.
Educational problems. Who actually gets the money to go to university? Go.
Yes, and there will be I forgot the was it students?
What?
5. Anybody in the group? 4. What is a quango? 3. What does quango mean?
They're paid by the government. And
They're paid by the government to do what?
To help, just to help.
To help.
Yeah, so. But
3.
But it was a problem because they were paid like the other people.
2.
The government.
1. Go ahead.
The Quango, like they're the quasi like autonomous whatever groups.
Quasi-autonomous.
Yeah, they're non-government.
Go ahead. What does quango mean?
Essentially, the outside contractors the government would use to make decisions.
Yeah, like so they can.
Okay, so what was the controversy about them?
Should
That,
they be?
they shifted, essentially they were shifting the blame. So if they would give these people, they weren't even elected.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were just these contractors, and they were responsible for making these decisions, but they couldn't be held accountable because they're...
Quangos are basically selected by the British Parliament to make decisions dealing with issues. One of them was education, if you remember. Do you remember any of the other 2 issues? Dealing with the healthcare system and also dealing with the prices of farm crops. They are selected to make the difficult decisions that Parliament doesn't have to make. So you're right, basically they're shifting the blame. But I ask one more time, what does quango mean? Quasi-autonomous.
Non-governmental organization.
Quasi-autonomous non-governmental organization might be a good idea to know what that word means. And what did Cameron suggest to do in order to solve the quango problem?
Form another Quango.
Form another quango to figure out which quangos were actually, I guess, viable. Exactly. So he wanted to help the problem by actually furthering it. Go ahead, click it and pick me a category. Or touch the house, I'm sorry. It was articles for 2. Click it again. Click it again, and then just touch the house. There you go. Pick me a category. Go. 5.
Articles for 1.
Articles for 1. List all you can. Click it, Amanda. United States Senate appointment responsibilities. You guys have it first. Next hand I see's got it next. Alphonse, join a group, but not that big one over there. Any of the other 3? Whichever one you choose. United States appointment responsibilities. What can the Senate do? 5.
Veto a president's decision on someone. But doesn't the president have to, like, he can either take the people who he wants and...
This article talked about Clinton and Bush.
Right.
What was the difference? Go ahead. 5.
Clinton took, like, the easy way, and he chose from the list that they already gave him, and Bush wanted...
So Clinton, wait. So what did Clinton do? Because what does the Constitution say about nominating judges?
They can nominate whoever they want, but it has to be approved.
That's what the Constitution says.
You're supposed to get approval from the
Senate.
The president nominates with the advice and consent of the Senate. So this question is, what does advice and consent of the Senate mean? What did Clinton do? 5.
He went before and he asked, like...
Who?
Clinton went before.
The House of
and
Representatives
the
and the Senate.
He went to the House of Representatives. -1. Go.
It was Tiffany.
Oh, it was Tiffany. Go ahead, Tiffany. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry, what was the question?
5. 4.
So,
3.
the responsibility, okay, what had happened was that Clinton had gone to one of the Republicans, representative.
Representatives, -1.
The
Can we go
Senate-
back? Can we do it again?
No, not until the next question. Go!
What?
Answer
Oh, it
5.
should be -1.
That is -1.
No, what do you mean?
Go ahead.
Wait, first of all, Clinton went to the Senate and he had
He went to the Senate. That's the thing. There's the House of Representatives and there's the Senate, and I got 2 representatives out of this. Go. He went to the Senate and did what?
He had to go get advice and consent, and he went to get the advice and consent.
Why did he go to the Senate? 5.
Because he had to go get advice, consent from them to approve a Supreme Court.
Why?
Because he needed, the Constitution said that he
Why?
needed that, because they didn't have a majority party.
Because the Republicans held control. 1, 2, 3. I'll go with that.
Yes.
Clinton went to the Senate, and he went to the Senate because it was controlled by the Republicans. What did W do?
George Bush didn't go because both Republicans had control of the House and the Senate.
George W. did not have to go, and the debate on this as far as responsibilities is, do you have to go to the Senate or not? Clinton did, but the argument is he had to go because Republicans controlled the Senate. He had to consent with them. W did not go because his party controlled the majority. They weren't exactly going to hang him out to dry. George Washington set the standard for this. Did George Washington come closer to Clinton, or did he come closer to Bush?
He came closer to Bush.
Why?
Because he actually he felt that it was unnecessary to consistently go and get consent advice from the
I'm sorry, one more time?
He did not, he felt it was
What did he
annoying.
do when he went that
He
one
always
time?
walked out.
Why?
Because it became annoying.
Why?
Frustrating.
Why?
He didn't need their consent.
Why? What happened when Washington went? Why did he get frustrated? 5.
Because it became too...
4. It's really easy. 3.
Because they were giving dumb answers.
2.
And he felt as if he didn't have to.
Speaking of which, 2.
He felt as if he didn't have to
1.
listen to anyone.
He actually went in there and he got frustrated because they continued. Everybody offered, and he was like, no, I don't need all this. Go ahead, touch the house, pick me a category.